Well, then I guess at this point we'd like to invite members of the public to come up and make any comments or direct questions at either John Houghton or panel members. Again, the procedure is we've got a microphone over there. If you just come up and state your name and affiliation before you ask a question, that would be appreciated. And we'd also be happy to get comments or questions from people watching over the internet. Yesterday, a little bit slow to get started. It's looking very similar today. Well, John, I say that your studies seem to be very clear and convincing. So, Todd, what would you... Should we move on to kind of panel discussion and overall recommendations?
We could take another break and kind of set that up, but I guess if there aren't any, and we haven't got any questions from the web? Okay. So we'll check and see if we've gotten any questions that have come in on the website. Oh, you've got one? Okay. We have one.
This is from Taryn Kiko at NRDC. Apologies if I mispronounced it. She's wondering if he looked at endangered Cook Inlet beluga whales, any evaluation of current threats to the population, and potential impacts of a proposed port and increased vessel traffic.
Maybe I should take a stab at this first and say that we haven't had panel members review that particular baseline document because we were unable to find a volunteer with the necessary expertise. And maybe Charlotte can kind of address this question.
Marine mammals were covered under a different section by ABR, so they're not here right now to answer those questions, but belugas were included in those studies.
Yeah, and so just in general, Keystone is exploring the possibility of having an additional panel, and we would hope that we could get those chapters covered in this further panel.
Yeah, that's right. So I've mentioned a couple of times that there are a couple of gaps, and we have a gap in vegetation, gap in wetlands, gap in wildlife, and a gap in endangered species in terms of the makeup of our panels. We've had a lot of interest in that, and so we're fairly confident that we can fill those and have a panel around that. We also have a somewhat of a gap in traditional knowledge, and we'll have some discussion about that tomorrow afternoon. One of our panel members is well versed in that, but we were hoping to get another person, so that's another possibility. So we're hoping to schedule another panel in possibly a couple of months if there's an interest in doing that. It sounds like there is around endangered species and in other areas, so we'll pursue that. So there's no questions of the panel members. The question of the panel for the panel.
The traditional knowledge part will be tomorrow.
It'll be tomorrow. Part of it will be tomorrow. We may actually do it again, but we'll do part of it tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon when we do the subsistence discussion. So we just had that presentation. The next part of the agenda is to have the panel members kind of give you a little bit of their observation and preliminary recommendations, but they probably haven't had much time to think about this particular one. So what I'd like to do is for us to have about a 10-minute break while they can sort of gather their thoughts, and then when we come back, we'll let John off the hook, and we'll go to the panel members. So just before we go to the break, I really want to thank John for that and reiterate what Milo said about trying to make it the discussion more accessible to the public. So I think that was great. So thanks, John, for that, and we appreciate your doing that. So let's take a 10-minute break, and then we'll convene again, and we'll get the panel back up here. Thanks.